Hello, if you're like me, you've probably had moments where you have had your child behaving poorly and you reflected on that and you felt inept as a parent, as other people observed that, and you kind of asked yourself, what did I do, not do, that led my child to behave like this? But then on the other end of the equation, you've probably had moments where you came down hard on your child, you disciplined your child, only to walk away feeling remorseful that, did I do something that fractured my relationship with my child? And these emotions and these conclusions are coming from a balanced approach that the Lord wants us to have with our children. And we read in, I'll put these two verses in the description. Ephesians 6 verse 4 says, Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Then in Colossians 3:21, fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. So there is a balanced approach, bringing them up in the discipline and the admonition of the Lord, not provoking them to anger. So on the one side, I'm responsible to be their disciplinarian, to be the one who trains them on how to live. And you might have heard people say, I don't have to be my children's friend. And that's emphasizing the discipline end of things, that I need to correct them and discipline them and train them. Part of their behavior, that responsibility falls on me in various ways. And so I have to work towards disciplining them. But at the same time, I need to make sure that I don't break the relationship. I don't provoke them to anger. I don't push them to the point that they no longer have a desire to do the things that I'm asking them to do. And so I still need a relational leverage there. And so what I want to encourage you to do is, when you're pastoring, when you're parenting your children, I want you to ask yourself the question, when you're disciplining them, is this fracturing my relationship with my child? And not how do I stop disciplining, but how can I proceed with disciplining, training my child without fracturing the relationship? And when you're emphasizing the relationship and you're spending good time with your child, still ask yourself the question, what am I doing that might be fracturing their character or damaging them as a person on how they're supposed to behave? And so I want to keep both of these issues in mind at all times. The health of the relationship and the health of their character. I cannot emphasize one over the other. And we see in those two verses that God wants us to have that emphasis to balance these two out. And that's so hard to do, because we kind of get in one-track mind approach to parenting. We're either relational or we're the disciplinarian, and somehow we have to become both. And one of the major reasons that we have to be both, and this fits right along with our pastoring our children and our first video on how our highest goal, hope for our children should be that they're following Jesus and they're going to go to heaven. And we have to keep in mind that no matter how much control we have over our children when they're in our home, at some point they're going to grow up, they're going to move out, and they're going to begin to make their own choices. And I won't have leverage left as far as authority leverage. The only leverage that will remain when my child's an adult is the health of my relationship with them. And so if I've damaged that relationship by too much emphasizing my authority when they are in my house, then I'm going to lose my voice with them when they're an adult. And if they are not following the Lord when they're an adult, I might not have the ability, the influence, the credibility to persuade them to follow Jesus. And so when you go to discipline your children, keep in mind, am I fracturing my adult relationship with my child? When they're an adult, am I fracturing that relationship? And am I losing influence in the future in order to get a short-term gain? And so it's very important that we make sure that we find this balance. And I'm telling you, this is probably one of my biggest struggles as a parent, is finding the balance between being the disciplinarian and having a healthy relationship with my child. And so I hope this helps you. And I want to encourage you, please help us. If these videos are helpful to you, first just note that on our YouTube channel, Bethel Assembly of God Pittsburgh, There are playlists, and there's a playlist for pastoring your children with all the videos in that playlist. And also, the way that this video becomes more known to others is by the way you interact with the video. So liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, subscribing to the channel are all ways to help us get this video become more visible. So I encourage you, please, at this moment, like this video, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe to our channel. I hope these videos are helpful, and I'd love to answer any of your questions. Just leave a comment, or you can email me at dlevesque@bethelpgh.org. I'll leave that in the description as well. God bless you.